It's a big day for college football, and nobody recognizes that more than the host of College Game Day, Rece Davis.
I've been covering college football for ESPN for 27 years. And prior to that, I grew up loving it. So basically my entire life.
A long regular season comes down to this. It's Selection Day, where college football's top teams find out if they get to compete for a championship and who they'll have to face to get there.
Here we go.
We don't know who's in the playoff, what the rankings are. We see it when the people at home see it. There's an intensity to that.
Judgment Day is here. The bracket will be filled, and the coaches everywhere are sitting on pins and needles.
Here we are once again trying to figure out what this committee is going to do.
Here comes the bracket.
You guys ready to do this?
Let's do it.
The #1 seed, the Oregon Ducks.
Make sure we're not revealing them all.
The #2 seed, Georgia Bulldogs.
Go ahead.
3rd seed goes to Boise State.
Here's 4. Got him.
Who has the final bye? It's Arizona State.
12th ranked next.
Clemson is seeded 12th. The 5th seed is the Texas Longhorns. Who has the 6th seed? Penn State. So Happy Valley will host a first-round playoff game.
Go ahead.
The 7th seed, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The 8th seed, Ohio State.
Ready, 9.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Go 10.
In-state battles as the Hoosiers will go to take on the Irish.
Okay, now we're going 11 is next.
Who's going to be #1? You know the answer to that. What you rarely know the answer to is who's going to be left out.
1 spot remaining. I think we pretty much know the 2 teams it comes down to. Alabama or SMU. 1 spot remaining. There's no right answer here. Who is it? The SMU Mustangs hold on to that final spot.
This is the reality of the situation, is someone is always going to be left out. This is the result of conference realignment. There's just going to be such a hodgepodge of teams with multiple losses. It gets more and more difficult for the selection committee to sort out.
Miami seemed like a lock until an upset loss in the final week of their season. Another shock was Alabama.
Oklahoma crushes Alabama, dealt their postseason dreams a fatal blow tonight here in Norman.
Tough luck. Win your games. You got a schedule just like everybody else, because the teams that won their games, they're not the ones being left out.
But controversy is nothing new to a college football postseason. No matter the format, it's never been perfect.
When a college football season begins, everybody hopes to be a national champion.
There have been controversies about who the champion has been dating back to the beginning of the AP poll era, which started in 1936. I mean, there are a number of seasons in which teams have gone undefeated and uncrowned.
College football, should it have a Super Bowl of its own?
Then we went to the BCS formula, and people didn't like the formula.
It's clear that it's a colossal failure here, the BCS. 4 of 7 years. The system just frankly hasn't worked.
BCS was such a convoluted formula that no one could ever understand it. And there were constantly arguments over who truly was the national champion, even with the computers trying to spit out the right answer.
They said it was not subjective enough. They wanted a committee.
Oklahoma State still with dreams, aspirations of moving into the 2nd slot, which is still occupied by Alabama.
I don't think there's any doubt that the best way to settle this would be a playoff. But I don't know how you do it.
Alabama, they win the BCS championship.
We eventually expanded into the 14 playoff by 2014, then ultimately to the 12-team playoff where we are now. College football did what it has always done. It waited on a crisis and then tried to react to it to try to satisfy the people, to give them the closest thing we could to crowning a champion at the end of a playoff.